the stock market down and unemployment at its highest since October 2021. But even though Trump has been out of office nearly 4 years, Harris knows who she's blaming after a disappointing jobs report.
Her campaign dropping this press release yesterday titled, "Reminder, Trump failed the American economy. A second Trump term would be worse."
Here with reaction is former Trump economic advisor, Stephen Moore. Hey, Stephen, good morning.
Stephen, we're having a hard time even reading the reading the text. It's just so comical. We had the 50-year, the best economy in 50 years under the Trump administration before COVID. What do you make of this?
Well, we just put out this report. I don't know if you can see this, but it's something that I gave to Donald Trump a couple weeks ago, comparing the Trump record on the economy versus the Biden economy. And we looked at, I should say, the Biden-Harris economy. And we looked at about 18 to 20 major measurements of how the economy did when Donald Trump was president versus how it's run under Biden and Harris. And on almost every one of these statistics, whether it's the stock market, whether it's gas prices, whether it's the inflation level, whether it's people's incomes, whether it's small business confidence, every single one of these, with a few exceptions, shows that the economy far outperformed when Trump was president than when Biden was president. And so you have, yesterday, unfortunately, we got this lousy jobs report. It's making me very nervous. It certainly made the stock market nervous. We had a huge crash in the stock market yesterday. And I want to make sure that your viewers understand that this didn't happen by accident. It's a direct result of Biden coming in, re-regulating the economy, regulating everything that moves. And then remember, we had this $4 trillion spending spree, all paid for with debt and printing money. And unfortunately, it looks now like the chickens are coming home to roost.
Yeah, I don't know, Stephen, that people always connect the dots like you just did. There's more dots to connect, right? You have on that spending spree, you cause inflation. You cause inflation, you cause high interest rates. You maintain high interest rates, you eventually lead to a recession, which we might be arriving at. We might be arriving at as we speak. By the way, this is the biggest issue, far and away, among voters. They put the economy number one, immigration two, abortion third, and it's a big gap, by the way, even between immigration and economy. And voters think Trump over Kamala Harris is clear as well, as better able to handle the economy.
Yeah. Well, Americans understand exactly what I was just talking about, that they remember how good the economy was. I mean, remember, before COVID hit, Trump was on his way to winning a 40-state re-election landslide. And don't forget also that when Trump left office, there was no inflation. I mean, I saw Kamala Harris the other day blaming inflation on Trump. There was no inflation under Trump. The average inflation rate when Trump was president was less than 2%. It's been well over 6% since Biden and Harris came into office. And now, by the way, you look at what Kamala Harris is talking about, like abolishing our oil and gas drilling, like having a forced government take over the healthcare system. These are pretty radical ideas that I think, as an economist, would absolutely crash our economy.
You know, when you look at the race right now, as far as what each candidate is putting as their message, President Trump has said, hey, we don't need to tax tips. Now he's saying that seniors shouldn't pay tax on their Social Security. Is this the populism coming out? Is this going to resonate with voters? How does this affect the election?
You know, I got to tell you guys, because I am a senior economic advisor to Trump and talk to him every so often about the economy. And you know, I always tell him, you know, sir, you don't need my advice because you've got a pretty good handle of it yourself. And these two ideas, I have to say, I mean, he came up with himself, and they're brilliant, I think. Actually, not taxing tips. A lot of my Democratic friends are saying, gosh, why didn't we think of that? Because it's such a good idea to put money into the hands of the people who work hard and provide great services for us. And now he's come up with this idea of not taxing Social Security. I think it's a really good idea because, look, you already paid the tax, right? Yeah, you know, you and I, we're all paying the tax right now, and then they give us this measly benefit. Social Security is actually a lousy deal for people, and so it's a small benefit. Now they want to tax that. And incidentally, we need and we want people who are in their 60s and 70s to keep working. It's good for the economy. It's good for them. The longer you work, the healthier you are. And the tax system and the Social Security system actually punish our seniors with very high tax rates if they continue to work. So I think Trump has really struck a chord here. I think it's good economics. And by the way, it's pretty good politics, too, because seniors may be the ones who decide this election.
And they've been hurting so much with inflation because when you're on a fixed income, boy, does that hit hard.
That's right.
Stephen Moore, always great talking.
Rachel, you got an A in economics today.
Did you know that I'm an economics major? I majored in economics.
I knew you
knew that.
But you're right. The people who are hurt the most by inflation are older people who spent their whole life saving, and now all of a sudden their savings has been depreciated by 20% thanks to Biden and Harris.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home and brag that Stephen Moore gave me an A in economics. I love it. Stephen Moore, always great having you on. You're the best.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Steve.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.